back. So, we're going to be working on, you guessed it, the off-road lawnmower. So in this video is make a trunk under the seat to put crap in. We'll be making a battery mount to secure the battery. We will be header wrapping the exhaust and separating the clutch and brakes. So let's get started. Okay, so now with all that out of the way, I went on ahead and bit the bullet and bought a new air filter right here and some little bitty weed eater filters for this little vent right here on top of the fuel tank. And the reason I bought this new air filter is because this was the original air filter on this engine on this mower when it was sitting out for 5 years, and I think it's overdue and needs a new one. I don't have the top cover that goes over this, which is why this is taped off right here. I was thinking about leaving the pre-filter off, but I mean, since that cover's not on there, it's just probably gonna get more cake, so I decided to just go ahead and put it on there. So next we're gonna be working on the battery box, and I have this old mower deck hardware here, which is actually the same thing I used to make the battery box on that thing. And yeah, it works pretty good. So this one, yeah, a little bit small, but the general idea is I'm gonna put that there, weld it up, and adjust everything, and it should work. So that little piece in there keeps the battery from rocking back and forth. It actually fits in there really nice. Looks pretty legit. Besides this little cheesy bungee strap, which I have kind of temporarily holding this battery down, but later on I might make something else. So yeah, that's done. So just some quick information about the clutch and brake separation. So obviously I'm gonna keep the clutch down there. On the racing lawnmower, as some of you know, I actually rigged this up here as a brake. Got a whole other video on that, and I rigged this up as like a park and brake thing. Well, at slower speeds, me sitting on it, if I'm gonna be going through trails and stuff, trying to reach all the way up here, pull this, trying to stop and slow down, and then having to let that all the way back down. I feel like on the trail going like 20 miles an hour, that's just not really gonna be practical. On something like that, it looks cool. It looks like a handbrake, but off-road lawnmower, I really don't know. So what I'm thinking is putting the brakes on the shifter like Fearless Front did. Basically welded a T-handle right here, put like a bicycle head lever right here, kind of like a brake lever on something like that. Put that on there and use that as my brakes. And I've kind of sat here and tested it, and that does actually feel really natural, and that's probably what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna run the cable down to the brakes, and what I'm gonna use is the motorized bike clutch handle thing, because when you pull this all the way in, you can push that in, lock your clutch, and it doesn't have a spring in it, so it's not gonna release, but I'm gonna use that so that way I can have a parking brake. If you got any other ideas about what I should do with this, besides a brake or something, please let me know. I am also going to weld in some steering stops because, yeah, I was actually driving it through the trails and I thought, steering stops, whatever, but yeah, there's been a couple times where it's maxed out like this. All right, so I am out of school now. I am currently heading to Lowe's to try to find something to make the trunk out of because somehow aliens abducted my battery box. and it is absolutely nowhere to be found. I've looked up my butt to the left, right, and center, and I cannot find it. But we're gonna make a new one. So this is what I've ended up with. Just 2 little plates of steel here, and they actually had aluminum, but it was more expensive, and I don't have an aluminum welder at my house. This is 16 gauge steel, which should be plenty strong enough. All right, so got all the pieces cut out, making a little bit of progress here. I still gotta make a plate for the bottom. So with all this crappy work done, we can now start welding it up. Alright, so here it is. Looks a little bit ugly, but I got it all sort of tapped in place, or tacked in place. So I'm going to go through and finish up welding, and then we're going to put it in here. Alright, so kind of got it halfway back in there, some messing about. I'm going to make some kind of L brackets to bolt in this bolt hole right here, because I want this actually bolt in. I don't want to weld it to the frame, because if I ever need to remove it, it'll be that much simpler. So I'm going to get to work on that. All right, so I just measured and cut out a little L piece right there, so I could bolt into the box and bolt into the frame and bolt this thing down. All right, so got these little pieces drilled. I also got my holes drilled in there. That was a fun time trying to do that. And now I have this box sitting up here, wiped down with brake cleaner, and we are fixing to shoot a coat of paint on it. All right, so there we go. It's primed now. Looks pretty good, not professional, but it'll be okay for a storage box. And for some of y'all wondering about why I just literally tacked the entire thing in place, number one, it has a little cooler look to it. And number two, it's a storage box. I mean, it's not like I'm trying to weld a frame back together or anything. It's just a little box to keep crap in. And it would take me hours and hours and hours and hours trying to fully weld this entire thing. And that would just take 2,000 years. And this is plenty structural enough. So while that up there was drying, I was actually fixing the shifter because, dark. That little spring right there just kind of was just flapping all over the place. And now, put the spring back on so it kind of stays into position. So next thing I'm gonna do is pull out this cotter pin here and take these brakes off because they're literally doing nothing and they bind up every time I push the clutch in. All right, so this is all dry now. So let's stick it back in. Boom, just like that. Box is fully mounted in. That's not gonna go anywhere. So I got these little bolts here to hold that in. I double nutted it so it won't, lacerate me if I ever get to reach my hand in there. As you can see, that is the most professional looking job. Yes, at some point I will put a lid on top of this that kind of flaps down, but right now I'm kind of happy with that. And look, you can't even notice it. It's totally invisible. I wanted to make this a little bit lower, but then I wouldn't be able to do any future service to the transaxle like pulley swaps, brakes, shifter, etc. And just in case you are wondering, it is 10.5 inches long, 6 inches wide, and 6 inches tall. So let's now wrap the exhaust. All right, so there are a couple of reasons on why I want to wrap the exhaust. Number one is to mainly keep the heat down inside the hood. And number two is to kind of help seal up some of these exhaust leaks. And three, to give it a better look. All right, so I got the first part of it started right there. And a little tip, wear gloves when you do this crap because it has these little fibers in here. And that will go in your hands and you won't even know it. And it'll start, and everything you start touching will start to hurt. But anyway, I'm gonna get this all wrapped up till this piece runs out. And then put y'all back on and show you what it looks like when it's all done. All right, so not all the way done, but I did get it up to right here. These zip ties, I mean, they go over fine, but they will not clamp tight because that's about as tight as I can get that thing with vice grips pulling on the thing and pliers holding that. So tomorrow I'm gonna get some hose clamps because I don't have any of this size right now to clamp over that part right there, and then I'll finish it. All right, so now I'm gonna get to work on this exhaust, and it's probably gonna be a complete pain in the butt because trying to hold this still and wrap another layer on top of it going back, and messing about with this, putting a hose clamp around there, being an octopus trying to hold everything together. I'm just not gonna film it, and I'll show you the finished product. All right, so there we go. Looks actually a lot better than I expected. This part right here is definitely one of the most frustrating things, but kind of came on back and have that all pretty much sealed off. Looks good. So yeah, after that little test, thing did great. Still kind of smoking a little bit, but that'll go away eventually. Has a good sound to it. It's not overly obnoxious or anything like that. It seems to actually run smoother. I guess it's because all the exhaust is actually coming out there and not all right here. But yeah, everything works great. I'm gonna put the hood back on it and all that. And next video, we're gonna be welding on some steering stops, changing pulleys, and something else. But something else is going to be making a hood latch right here and painting these wheels this color. For those of y'all wondering about the racing mower, I have done a little bit to this. I've rigged up a pull start. I am kind of working on the video, but there's not really enough to make a full video yet. I do want to make the exhaust. That's going to be a lot of fabrication trying to do that, but I kind of got an idea of what I'm going to do. So that video will be out, I don't know when. So, as usual, I hope you liked this video. If you did, you know what to do. Click all the other buttons that YouTubers say to click. If you didn't like this video, click on thumbs down twice because 2's better than 1. 3 or more doesn't work. And y'all should see me in the next build, or next part of the off-road lawnmower.